let's move on to Qantas now, to airlines. Now, you recently flew first class on the Qantas A380. Just tell us a bit about the experience.
Yeah, LA Sydney on the A380. So Qantas's first class is that kind of these beautiful suites. They don't have the closing doors on them, but they're absolutely stunning products. So Qantas has got 14 seats in first class cabin, and it's 1-1-1. So there's one on the windows and one in the middle, and it really is it's a lot more of an experience. So we talk about how good suites are on planes.
Yeah.
Qantas has got a program called the Qantas Hosts, and what they do is before you fly, they'll call you up, start talking to you about what you might need. So
pre the flight,
and that includes booking into, if you're flying out of Sydney to LA, you've got the Sofitel Day Spa, so booking you into the day spa.
Love that.
Getting a table reserved for you in the lounge, which they do in LA on the reverse. There's just no day spa.
Okay.
And then on top of that, it's getting to the airport, using the lounges. We saw the brand new lounge open at LAX end of last year with the 74-seat Neil Perry restaurant in that. Absolutely fantastic product. And in Sydney, you've obviously got the first class lounge. So it does start before you get on the plane. And then when you're on board, obviously everything changes. It's quite an experience.
Before we get into the experience, does it tend to be pretty full in terms of booking out first class?
It's been a lot more popular of late because you look at sort of the airfare prices now. The business class prices, when they're on full price, first class is not that much more if you can get it on a decent rate. Also now with Qantas doing the new bid system in terms of points and whatnot, so it has been quite accessible. And if you're looking at 12 months, you can get first class frequent flyer seats. You've just got to look for them. So it has been a quite accessible cabin. I mean, in some airlines, it is a bit tricky, but Qantas does try to make that cabin as accessible as possible when it comes to getting travellers on board.
You've brought along a list with you of the Qantas wines, so it's quite a heavy list.
Yeah, it's quite a big list. It's quite a big book of wines, actually. So there's a funny page right here. So when you look at sort of when you get on board, it's when it ramps up. So the first class lounges, you get good wine. On board, you get some of Australia's best wine. So you get sort of the Tyrrell's Hunter Valley, that one Semillon, you get a Clonicular Shiraz Viognier. These are over $100 bottles retail that you can barely find. So one of Qantas's things is have the Neil Perry food on board the plane, but matching it up with really good wines. I mean, when you get on board, you've got a choice of, generally you've got a choice of a champagne, and the champagnes that you're going to have on board, the Taittinger Comte de Blanc, the Paul Roger, Sir Winston Churchill, and the Veuve Clicquot Le Grand Dame. So 3 of the best champagnes in the world. So they're really doing it right the second you get on board that plane to make sure the experience is something on a different level. You know, the canapé, champagne, and then a bed that's over 2 meters long. So
beats a lot of restaurants with that list of wine there.
It certainly does.
James, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you.
James Wilkinson there, and that is all we have time for on this edition of Business Class. From the team here, though, thanks for your company.